Hi, welcome to Zgadgetreview. So there is a lot of people who swear by streaming or having physical media. Streaming movies is becoming more popular than ever before. You have an exorbitant amount of streaming services for movies, TV shows. I'm talking about Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, or whatever that new one is called. There's a lot more than the ones I am mentioning. Of course, a lot of these services offer 4K streaming. A lot of these services don't offer 4K streaming yet. For example, Hulu and HBO Max. HBO Max right now only offers streaming on certain specific movies, but for the most part, they are just 1080p. Now, there are other reasons why I, for example, am one of the people who prefer to have physical media. One of the examples is the movie or the content that I have in my possession cannot be changed. For example, back when Splash came out on Disney Plus decided to extend Daryl Hannah's hair to cover her butt. In the original movie, you can see, I think the scene is when she's walking into the water, you can see her butt crack. For some reason, Disney Plus decided that in order to make this movie more PG and family friendly, they needed to extend the hair, which they did digitally. Now, if I own that movie, which I don't, but if I did, I could watch that movie the way it was intended, the way the movie was made back in the 80s. Now, I know it sounds nitpicky and probably ridiculous, but I like to watch movies the way they were intended. And so that is another reason why I think that having physical media is better, because you can have something that maybe other generations won't be able to watch. Not that Splash, Daryl Hannah's butt is going to become this unicorn of a movie that people are going to be clamoring to watch. But who knows what other movies in the future streaming services might decide to censor for whatever reason. Having physical media that no one can mess with or change things on, at the end, it becomes an important document of what the movie was intended to be at that time. So that is one of my reasons. My other reason is because if you have a Blu Ray player, whether it be 4K 1080p, you're going to be able to get the best experience out of that disc plugged to your TV without having to worry about your internet connection. We live in a time where not everybody has the best internet that you can have. We live in a time where companies put caps on how much internet you can use in a given month. The amount of data that goes to streaming a 4K movie with HDR or Dolby Vision or all the stuff that comes with movies nowadays that are streamed puts a burden on how much data you can use on a given month. If you love streaming things and you cannot afford high bandwidth for internet, you're not going to get the best experience out of that movie that you're streaming. Versus when you have a disc, you don't have to worry about that, and you know that the disc is going to give you the best experience that you can have. Arguably, I know there are some discs that are done horribly. Sometimes there's a lot of banding or haloing and whatever they decide to screw with when the movie is put into a disc, sometimes it's not the best thing. And there are many examples of that, so I'm not saying that it's perfect. So let's do a comparison between what a 4K Blu-ray disc gives you and what a 4K streaming service gives you. Now, I'm going to play at first the clips without telling you which one is a Blu-ray and which one is streaming, so you can see if you can guess which one is which. Now, I'm not using Disney Plus or Netflix or any streaming services. What I've done is I use the codes that come packed on the disc. So if you buy Blu-ray discs, you know that they usually come with a digital code that allows you to get the movie in digital form as well. So it's going to be 2 movies that are going to be streamed from Movies Anywhere, which is a Disney service, and 2 movies that are from Vudu. Now, all 4 movies, when they were streamed, they streamed on Dolby Vision. 3 movies out of the 4 movies, when they were played on a Blu-ray player, 1 in Dolby Vision, 1 was HDR. So if you want to play along and guess which movie is which, clips are going to be A, B. Once I reveal which one is streaming and which one is the disc, I will put what service it comes from. So here we have the first clip from Avengers Endgame. This is a scene where Thanos is in his planet. So see if you can tell the difference between one and the other. Here's a comparison of both clips. I slowed it down so you could see the difference better. When it comes to Dolby Vision, the thing that I noticed is that when it comes to color reproduction and brightness, there's not a huge difference. The difference is when it comes to transitions. The transitions between scenes is a lot more abrupt when streams versus on disc. Up next, we have Terminator Dark Fate. And on this one, I couldn't really tell the difference at first when I looked at both clips without doing the comparison. But once I did the comparison of both clips, I could definitely tell the difference, and you will be able to tell the difference too. You can go ahead and pause here to see if you can tell which clip is which. So here's where the comparison comes in, and it's very noticeable right away, the difference between both clips. The streaming has more pop and more of a yellowish tinge compared to the disc. The disc, I think, is more of a faithful representation of what the movie is. You can even see it in her face there. Now here we have John Wick Chapter 3. And I picked this scene because it's a night scene, so it should give us a little bit of a different view than the other two scenes, which were brighter or daytime scenes. You can go ahead and pause this to see if you can tell the difference between both clips. Now here we have the comparison of both clips. See if you can tell what the difference is between one and the other. On here again, we have on the streaming side is a little bit brighter. You can tell in his face, and it's a little bit also yellower. Here we have Joker, which is the final clip. Now this one I picked because of the colors, specifically in this part of the clip. There's a lot of colors. You can go ahead and pause both clips to see if you can tell which one's which. Now, on this clip was a little bit different. The disc had more pop than the streaming version, which was different in the other clips. And I was surprised by that. You can clearly tell here when the band plays the difference on how dark the streaming version is versus the disc version. And don't get me wrong, I understand the appeal of streaming. It is faster, easier, more convenient, and cheaper. For a monthly fee, you have access to this huge library of content that you otherwise might not have access to. And as most people say, it's okay. So as you can tell, I'm a big proponent of physical media. I do prefer it over streaming. I do stream some movies. I even own some movies digitally that I don't own on disc. And the reason for that is because, one, I want to save the space. Two, I don't feel like the movie is worthy of me paying top dollar for and have a disc for it. So hopefully you enjoy this comparison between 4K discs and 4K streaming. Do you have a preference between physical media and streaming? Were you able to tell the difference between the two? Let me know in the comment section. That's it for me. Go ahead and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, it really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.